This tale's another peculiar entry among a saga more famous for its horror epics, as it's partially dark comedy, but also a supernatural slice of life fable. Last Rites of Jeff Myrtlebank was actually the last ever Twilight Zone story devised by veteran show writer Montgomery Pittman. As he tragically died of cancer around the same time his final work came out. Did he end his horror career on a highlight, or just bury his legacy under failure? Let's see right now. Our supernatural shenanigans open up on a funeral, as a 1920s rural town is attending the last rites of the deceased Jeff Myrtlebank.
There it is!
However, the funeral takes a wacky turn when we all see that Jeff's not dead.
Zombie!
Spontaneously out of nowhere, Jeff Myrtlebank, who was presumed dead, wakes up at his own funeral, alive and well. At first, the town flips out at this Satanism, but Jeff proves himself trustworthy. He reunites with his bewildered yet loving family, and seeks to resume his normal life once more, where this entire plot is all about Jeff bettering himself into a greater man, while the townsfolk question how this BS is even possible, soon leading to them reaching the conclusion that Jeff could be a demon in disguise. The best way I can describe this episode is a Southern Gothic. The plot has a whole Ray Bradbury / Pet Sematary feel to it, as we trail Jeff and his whole town in a small country farmland where everyone knows each other, works the fields, and have thick Southern accents. Although more so a country scenery, the show returns to a rad Old West level. Yeah! This is allegedly because our writer, Mr. Pittman, grew up in the South himself, and much of the setting is inspired by his old life. Though I won't lie, the actors really go overboard with their Southern drawls.
Well, you're just plain rotten stubborn. I bet all your kids are born with horns. It's time to put a stop to this. After all, I'm the man of the family.
He didn't do nothing wrong.
I ain't liked him since we were both 3 years old. Unhand me.
How come he bested you tonight?
'Cause it weren't Jeff Myrtlebank I was fighting.
Look, Patrick, I'm Texas. Howdy, y'all.
I'm Texas, too.
Howdy, y'all.
Get a dog, little Arnie. Get a dog.
Y'all.
Other than some thick accents, the acting's fairly good as a whole. James Best really is the best at providing Jeff some quirky persona, as you do truly grow to like him and sympathize with his attempts at reacquiring his old life, but also have some skepticisms when he displays something off about him as well. Essentially, the story is very straightforward. Jeff is going back to pretending as if his death wasn't life-changing by resuming normalcy, but the townsfolk are totally weirded out by all of this and treat him differently, stirring up conflict. Their paranoia is not without merit, as even Jeff's family notice there's something different about their boy. We don't learn enough about Jeff prior to his death, but the townsfolk hint that he's a really different person than he used to be. Jeff actually starts accomplishing feats and doing things he never did when alive. He suddenly becomes a hard worker, always helping his old folks, puts on some muscle, is no longer a lazy slacker, exercises more, eats less, enacting in new tasks, and spends more time with his family and loved ones. He even confronts his old idiot bully who used to kick his arse, but for once he actually beats him in a fight, showing that Jeff grew stronger.
Brutality.
Coming back to life has caused Jeff to change. Unfortunately, this still leads to some mixed reactions. Nobody, not even we, the audience, learn how Jeff's magically alive, and paranoia rises. The town is worried due to his ominousness. Jeff has changed so much that some don't even believe he's the same guy anymore. And even his girlfriend, who was once ecstatic to have her man back, grows a tad scared of him when spooky stuff occurs. Jeff's spends a lot more time with her, constantly does things he never did before, and when picking flowers for her, they appear dead like an omen.
Oh, you oughtn't to have done that.
Oh, it's not much. They're dead, aren't they? I guess tame roses, they don't last very long.
This leads to his girl questioning things, and nearly joining the town's fears of Jeffy, while Mr. Myrtlebank sort of thinks things out. And if the theme of existential dread wasn't subtle enough for ya, well, the girlfriend's name is actually Comfort. Comfort. In this tale about pondering the meaning of life, our hero's lover is seriously named Comfort. Comfort is more or less our secondary protagonist, because she walks the line of loving and fearing Jeff due to his seemingly supernatural vibes. Now that he's back, Jeff hopes to marry his girlfriend, since he doesn't want to lose the chance to live happily ever after with her, like the first time. But Comfort is uncertain, because Jeff has changed so much that she's uneasy if it's not actually him in there. The show keeps it super vague if Myrtlebank's actually there, alive and well in his own bod, or if the townsfolk are correct that he's actually a demon possessing their friend, which keeps the drama ramped up high. However, it's easy to remain on Jeff's side because there's enough implications too suggesting that he is himself as he seeks to accomplish the dreams he had before he died. The episode plays with Jeff being himself or a ghost inside, dropping hints for both to make you question. You do start to root for him as he merely wants the happiness he failed to gain. Eventually, Jeff at last proposes to Comfort, asking her to help him fulfill his life once and for all. But her brother, the idiot bully, leads an angry mob demanding that the demon flee. Our climax is very different from the usual Twilight Zone finale. Jeff decides to take a stand against the posse, informing them all politely that he's not a monster who craves evil, but just a man who wants to live his life normally once more. But slyly teases that if he truly is a demon, then he'll wreak havoc upon them if they don't step off.
I'm about to end your fucking life.
Realizing that he's right, the angry mob quickly retreats and appease Jeff out of fear. Turned on by his manliness, Comfort accepts his ring and wants to be with him forever. However, our twist ending shows Jeff magically lighting up his smokes without a match, where he tells Comfort they're just seeing things since he's a normal man now, where they walk off into their happy ending. The show aims for an ambiguous twist which kinda muddles things a bit. So Jeff does have superpowers of some sort, but they want to tease if it's really him or indeed some cosmic entity possessing him, which is a trifle confusing. I mean, if it is a demon or spirit controlling Jeff, then why does it want to achieve his own goals and dreams from when he was alive?
Plot hole!
My best guess is that this genuinely is the real Jeff Myrtlebank as a revenant. But coming back to life has gifted him some magical abilities of sorts, since he's part spirit now. However, Jeff just wants to go back to normal and uses his powers sparingly. A bit of a weak, ambiguous ending, but the tale's great overall. Now, some of you may be asking, what was the point of this entire spooky rom-com which offers us vague answers? Well, I think it becomes clear by the ending. This is a story about finding meaning in our lives. Jeff did die and is a supernatural spirit. However, he came back to life because he left this world unfulfilled. All the characters point out how Myrtlebank's acting different, and doing things he'd never done before reveal that he's doing all this because he wants to better himself. Jeff works harder, spends more time with his loved ones, stays in shape, embraces the little things in life, and even starts standing up for himself because he realized he died before ever achieving his goals. Jeff believes he died a loser who accomplished nothing, and now that he's back, he's driven to make up for all that lost time by actually doing the things he always wanted to. The dude seeks to become somebody he'd be proud of before his actual death, who lived well. The theme of this episode is seizing your life's opportunities while you still can, because we don't want to lose that precious time before it's too late, like Jeff did.
Well, sir, if that's corny, then corn me up.
That's honestly the best motivational inspiration I've ever seen from this series, as it truly does carry a deep impact and really makes you think. It's shockingly rather profound for an episode about a goofball respawning as a revenant, and dark comedy antics to end on such a thought-provoking moral on how you should achieve your dreams while you're still kicking. I think that's truly what seals this episode as good as it is, because a dude literally came back from the dead because he wanted to be remembered as a great man and score with a wife before his time came. If that doesn't impress or encourage you, then I don't know what will. So I gift this fable a gold skull. This episode's highly underrated as a very rare feel-good fantasy tale. The last rites of Jeff Myrtlebank may be a tad corny and far from top 10, but its positive outlook on how we can better ourselves is so good, it reminds us why life is worth living.
Hello, baby.
The Twilight Zone.
Good news, Cat. Everything's set. House is geared up, and we're all familiarized with our roles. Our plan to dethrone NegaCat is in full motion. Great. Just great. Is something wrong? I figured you, of all felines, would be pleased that NegaCat's downfall is right around the corner of tea time. Of course I'm glad. I'm thrilled that she's finally getting her comeuppance. Pinky's earned her pie in the face. However, I'm just thinking to myself, pondering if there's even a future for me. If I die in this battle, then literally nobody would care. And if somehow I miraculously survive all this, do I even have a future? You run a very successful channel. You're about to be a hero among the stars, even if negativity overwhelms us. You've reviewed a multitude of horror stories, talked about many shows at length, gave casual viewers some laughs, endured hatred from jealous dolts who couldn't even beat you down, and are about to defeat a cosmic titan. What really can break you? I've been thinking for a while. Does my life truly have any meaning? Is my channel really that important? Am I just wasting my time doing all this? Maybe I work on something else instead. I have put serious thought into quitting. There's just so much out there in life I wish to enjoy. I spent so much time working on this because I thought it was dumb fun and wicked art. But if nobody's watching, then what's the point? I'm probably just gonna be a forgotten blip on people's radar. I see. You know something, dear Catastrophe? Your life is worth more than you give credit. When I first encountered you, I actually envied you. You did? Yes. When we initially learned of you after you crushed Mechanicat, our first thought was killing you. I did want you to suffer, but not because you slayed my creator. Instead, because of some jealousy. I was going to break away from him, yet you beat me to the punch, as if it were nothing, while I sat plotting. I was practically a slave, forced to worship that pain in the tail. But then you came along and removed him for me. It made me question what my own purpose was, since the cat who guided me could not guide anymore. I wasted many eons overthinking things while here you were, simply doing your goals. When Pinky showed me all the intel she gathered up on you, I learned so much. For a lowly feline, you did accomplish more than you thought. Oh, poppycock, I'm just a nobody internet artist like many others. In simplest terms, yes, but you did have an identity and your own voice. You talked about every episode of The Haunting Hour, picked up many obscure horror sagas, amazed fans by just doing their requests, earned many followers who actually enjoy what you do, acquired thorough knowledge on culture, and somehow managed to have fun. Your channel may not be a ratings hit, but you were doing what you loved. You were working on things that fulfilled you, and had a blast doing it. I used to have fun on this channel, but not lately. Why not? You're your own boss. You have final say in everything. Work hard to make funny videos which at least hundreds watch. And got to do and say things many only dream of achieving. You have a fun life. It was fun. I did this channel in the first place because I wanted to entertain. I still do, because it gave me purpose and even happiness. But now I'm unsure. Don't be, Cat. I was jealous of you because you achieved so much in your measly life. You got more done than I ever did for all the centuries I slaved away at a position I grew to hate. I saw others doing what I never could, being normal and living fun dreams. All I ever wanted was to be alive like my cohorts, like the people of the galaxy, like you. If I could have had a life, then I desire doing great things and living out my goals like you. Really? Don't sell yourself short, Cat. Just because we don't win first place in every game doesn't mean you aren't scoring. You may not be an angry video game nerd or a screw attack host, but you've done actions many desire. Life is meant to be enjoyed, not seen as a stone around your neck. On your channel, you can do whatever you want, but don't forget it helped put your name out there. Some souls will remember the small steps as big impressions. I never thought of it like that. It's the truth. I know you'll probably never forgive me for all my past evil, but believe me when I say that as fact. I'm sorry for all the villainous misdeeds I cat-mitted, Mr. Trophy, but if it means anything, you're the superior cat, since you had such a greater lifetime than this spot. You know? That almost gives me something to live for. Hopefully we can both do some getting out after this. You know, buddy, there's a huge likelihood that not all of us are coming back. Nigga Cat's far more unhinged than Nigga Wolf, to the point of taking away a few friends. There will be more losses, especially since this is a one-way trip. I know. Pinky has already shattered my original devices beyond repair, and even with this reboot, I'm not the same Hollow Cat I once was. I know some of us won't make it, but we can't let her win. Besides, that bitch sacked me and hijacked my sole hope from under me. If I'm going down, then at least I'll deliver a final screw you to our bratty boss's ugly mug. Careful, pal. You almost sound like a real soul.
The life inside this